Welcome back to another episode of Contents May Vary. I'm Candace.
And I'm Kelly.
And today we're going to talk about that one thing that we have not talked about in our story so far, which was the first time we met and our first interaction. We've given you bits and pieces of it, but we haven't really given you the whole story. So today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on that story so you can get the lore behind how we became to be a fixture in each other's lives, even if it took a while for us to become regulars in each other's lives, if that makes sense.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. As you all recall, let's rewind the tape. We've told you that I, Candace, cold called Kelly's mama to get the scoop, but really not the scoop, just to be like, hey, so I'm Candace, I'm your sister. Okay. We also learned that was when Kelly found out that she actually had other siblings. So we had that conversation. Then a little while passed, and then Kelly graduates from high school. And Kelly has a graduation. Candace isn't able to go, but I sent flowers because I was trying to think of what did I want when I graduated. I wanted flowers, so I sent my sister some flowers. But up until that point, we'd only had the phone conversation. We'd also exchanged photos, but we hadn't had an in-person meeting. So Kelly goes to college, and she's going to FAMU. Fall of, when did you start? Fall of
2006.
2006. Okay, great. So fall 2006, Kelly you're about to turn 18 or about to turn 19?
19 that year.
Yeah, about to turn 19, has graduated high school. I am in 2006, 25 in the fall.
This is 20 years ago, mind you.
That's crazy.
Do you realize that? Okay.
Okay, that is legitimately 20 years ago. So I'm 25 and living in, I was living in DC at the time, or Maryland. Ellis was now a baby. He was 1. And I wanted to meet my sister in person. And an opportunity presented itself, or at least I felt an opportunity presented itself in the thing that we know as parent weekend or family weekend at colleges. And so I was like, I don't remember how I told you. I don't remember how.
I was just about to ask you that.
I decided.
I was like, how did we work out logistically?
I don't know.
When did we talk?
I don't know. I cannot recall that conversation. I just know that I decided, this might be a good idea. And did I tell you in advance, or did I tell you?
I don't remember. I'm literally about to ask you, how did we work it out? I don't remember the plans, but I remember you being there.
This is what I think happened. I can't tell you for truth if it's what happened, but what I think happened is because I love surprises. I love surprises to a fault because I assume everyone else also loves surprises. And so I get tremendous joy out of surprising people. So it's highly likely that I decided I was going to do it. And then I probably called you to see or checked with you to see if your family was coming for Parents Weekend. And then I think I probably decided to go when you told me there wasn't anybody coming.
Yeah, because at that point we were probably Facebook friends by then, right? I feel like
Facebook was a thing.
And I just remember you being there. I really don't remember how we worked out the logistics. And speaking of surprises, just to mention, I also love surprises. But I'm a person, I love surprises, but I don't like being startled. That's what I don't like.
I don't like being startled either.
I don't like being startled. But I love surprises. But I love
surprises. Love a surprise.
Yeah.
So you know what? I feel like maybe I can do that between now and the next episodes. Look through Facebook messages to see how if there's any clue in how that came to be. Because I really don't remember a conversation around it at all. I just know that Um, I got there, I was excited, and there's one song that is still like the soundtrack of that meeting for me,
Which one?
because it was my first time hearing it was when I got in the car in Florida, and I was like, "Oh, I like this song." I just kept on playing it because the way my brain is set up, I gotta inject a song into my veins, before I'm done with it. It was "Turn It Up" by Jonta Austin.
Okay. I know Jonte also. I'm trying to think of Turn It Up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That song, and whenever I hear it, or if I choose to hear it, like turn it on, it reminds me of when I was in Tallahassee to visit you.
Nice.
So I've gotten us to that point, to at least to where I'm off the plane. I don't know if you remember when you knew I was going to be there, but let's start from when you knew that I was coming. Whatever moment that was. What were your thoughts?
Most likely excitement, because I knew my family wasn't coming. Like my mom's side, nobody was coming. So to just be able to participate in family weekend, for one, made me feel better because I'm away at school by myself, feeling all the feelings that are associated with that, your first year away at school, so to have somebody come down for family weekend, I'm sure I was excited about that. I just remember when you got there, you came to the dorm.
I remember that.
Picked me up from the dorm. We went out to eat. I remember going back to your hotel, but I can't remember when I knew.
I don't either, but I'm gonna tell you what I also remember. And I think this was when I was like, we got things in common. Do you know what I'm about to say?
What?
Red Lobster, Cheddar Bay biscuits in the Caesar dressing.
Yes. Gotta dip them.
Dip it in the Caesar dressing.
You gotta
around
dip
the
them.
bowl. Chef's kiss. Like, another person that likes the same weird shit that I do.
Gotta dip them. Yes. Man.
Yeah.
I forgot all
and
about
I was
that.
For me, it kind of like tracks back to the flowers, where like parent or family weekend for me was another one of those things, because at that point I will have had 6 years at a school that has a family weekend and didn't have anybody there. And I remember my first family weekend in high school, where one of my classmates, who was also from Memphis, her mom came up and was doing all the stuff. And I knew we weren't close. I didn't have the expectation that her mama would be like, "Oh, come do all this stuff with us." And I, also, she's not my mama. She wanted to be with her daughter, but I did feel left out. I felt like, all these people with their family around, and they're introducing their family. You get to see little parts of them and stuff like that. And campus just felt different every time it was family weekend, and if you didn't have family there, it just felt different. It felt like there was all this stuff going on around you, but you weren't a part of it, even though you could be, I guess, because you're there. It just didn't feel like it was for you. It felt like being a stranger in the space that had become home.
I would kind of equate it to maybe being like alone on a holiday. It almost felt like, it felt like it was Christmas on campus.
That is a really good description of it. And
it felt like it was Christmas and everybody else was celebrating, and you,
and so I was like, well, I'm gonna go to fam for family. If nobody coming, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Man.
Yep. I remember feeling like your dorm looked like from school days, like the dorms outside on school days. Because at that point, that was really my first time really on an HBCU campus.
Okay.
Because even though I was in Atlanta, I didn't go to the AUC much at all. So being at FAM and kind of trying to navigate to get you, I was like, oh, okay, this looks like school days.
What an experience, man. I made so many good friends in that hall to this day that I still talk to,
That's good.
Shout out to McGuinn Hall. I think they might have either tore McGuinn down now or something's changed about it, but Very much. I wouldn't trade the HBCU experience for nothing. I wouldn't trade it. But
I look at Ellis and I'm like, you know what? I kind of wish I got that same experience too. I remember being in the hotel room when we were just kind of chit chatting. I don't know if I had a specific question or if you had any specific questions or anything like that. I just remember what I remember most about that weekend is existing in the same space together. That song, the Cheddar Bay biscuits with the Caesar dressing, important detail. Taking the picture and walking around through the tailgate. And also looking at our feet. The feet will forever make an appearance in this conversation. Looking at our feet. And
excuse me.
And remembering when you had started to get emotional. I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't remember the variety of things we might have discussed over the time. I don't remember any of that. All I remember really is being in the same space together.
I tend to get emotional sometimes when I feel overwhelmed and maybe not knowing how to navigate the feelings that I'm feeling or even be able to express them sometimes. And I'm sure back then I was even worse at communicating or expressing myself and, suppressing how I felt. I know last week we talked about the trip to Memphis. And similar happened. I had a moment where I just I cried to myself a little bit.
Really?
Just because I felt, because I was like, it was just a lot. Not in a bad way, but I was just really just like, it was a lot of emotion.
You care to share?
I mean, yeah. Okay. It was it was honestly when we were in the car. I was so embarrassed. That's when I just went ahead and went to sleep. You got the picture of us sleeping in the car. Girl, I cried and just went ahead and went to sleep because I didn't want the tears to fall down my face. But in that moment, it was when we were leaving the funeral. We were leaving the repast. And we were headed back to Dad's. And I don't know, I was in a happy place. It was a lot of things about me thinking not only about being with Dad's side of the family, but also I'm thinking about my grandma's side who's from Mississippi and, just being down here on the land and out and around town. And I don't know, I was just so overcome with a lot of different thoughts that I cried. I don't know. So thinking back to me getting emotional when you came down to fam, I still can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I remember just being nervous, worried about being too awkward or not knowing what to say. I'm not a great small talker in my opinion. I don't enjoy small talk. I can do it, but navigating it, again, there's a lot of overthinking it in my head. Am I saying the right things? Am I, performing as one would expect me to perform, so it was probably just a lot of that going through my head. And it might be honestly a reason why I may not remember a lot of the details. I think because it was chaos up in my head, probably, it was, I just know I was happy that you were there. And it was a lot that I'm sure I wanted to say and know and do, but I was just so overcome with just the idea itself. I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
You were a baby too.
I was still young. Yeah. Like I said, if I suck at communicating now, I can only imagine how bad it was back then.
Honestly, I think I really love the way that you framed what you said kind of around really being preoccupied and kind of thinking about, am I saying the right thing? Am I showing up how I'm supposed to showing up while still not even knowing what that's supposed to be because it's all new territory. And that inner chaos being partly why we don't recall the specifics. And I would probably say it's similar for me. I just never would have thought to say it that way because I do not like small talk. I'll make it if I have to, like if I'm in a forcing position to do it. But it's almost like even in small talk situations where I'm forced to do it, I will not remember the name of the person I just talked to.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like there's so much effort getting into just making it through that you're like, ooh, I survived. Like I did it. I did it kind of thing. And it's not to say that experience in no way was traumatic for me.
No.
Or, anything like that. But it still did not come without its share of anxieties because, I'm also like, oh, I wonder if she like me. Like, do I, like, am I going to be too much, too overbearing? It's like, is she going to wish her mama was here? Like all these things because I'm neither her mama nor her daddy. So like, but I'm this weird ass relative on family weekend. So it's like, I don't know, not really knowing exactly.
And if I'm so stuck up here,
or how to
and
be.
Exactly. And if I'm so stuck up here in my mind, I'm not in the moment. And how can I really recall the moment then if I wasn't fully present? I was present, but it was. I just remember I was very much so excited to meet you and have you there. I thought you were gorgeous. I did, see our similarities. That picture of us, girl, that's them eyebrows, girl. Them eyebrows was there. Oh God. I said, yeah. I'm the little sister here, honey. Little awkward looking little girl sitting next to him, girl.
I was just like, this is my sister. I do remember after I got home, because we took pictures on a little camera, like a real camera.
Everything went on Facebook.
And I uploaded and put them on Facebook. And I also emailed emailed pictures to my mom and dad. And I emailed to Karen, because I don't think I told Karen that I'd met you, but I did tell her. And I was like, these are pictures. I went to go see Kelli at FAM. And I sent them to her because I was just so excited. And I remember my mama telling me, and she was like, I cannot be upset with this baby. She looked like my baby. She was like, there's no way I could. She was like, I wouldn't be upset with a child, no way. She said, but I can definitely. She was like, there's no way I could be upset with this baby. It looked just like my baby. What did you like? Did you call your mom? Like, what did your mom think? Do you recall anything about what your mom thinking around, like? Because I'm still ultimately a stranger.
I know she would ask, like, okay, well, how do you feel? Did you have fun? Well, what y'all do? She wants to know the deets. My mom gonna dig in and ask, so what y'all do? Where y'all go? Did you do this? So she wants to get into the details, not so much expressing how she feels or, any input. Sometimes I just feel like she just be being nosy, but she just want to know, she wasn't there.
She even place herself, she gotta place herself where you are.
Exactly. But I know I recall, just having let her know that you were coming, and once it happened, just filling her in on the details afterwards. But my mom, like I said, when she and I have conversations, a lot of times it could just be surface level. Sometimes we don't get real deep. So it was really just her getting the details on what we did, how we spent the time, how she looked, what just asking, just wanting to know, child. I can't remember if I shared the pictures. I know at that time my mom wasn't on Facebook yet. This is back when you still had to have a college email to be on Facebook. So I'm trying to think if I was able to share the pictures with her. I don't recall if I did or not. But it was mostly just her getting the scoop.
She's like, I remember thinking, yes, this is like we look alike. She looks like dad. Like that's all I could say. And then I know I'm gonna beat this horse to death, but those freckles, I was like, it's so cute. And also, I think because even though, when you're 19 or you're going to college, you feel very grown, like you feel like an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you look back at yourself and you're like, I was just a baby, right?
Kid.
I remember thinking, I knew that you're, an 18-year-old young woman. But when I saw you, I was like, this is my baby sister. Like, she's a baby. Like, I know it's not like you're small and dainty and, all these things, like a little infant. It wasn't anything like that. It's just, I remember feeling the need and the urge, I guess, to be protective of what I didn't yet know, because because I don't, I don't and didn't know, any of the things that you deal with, or what you enjoyed, what you love, what you hated, what I didn't know any of those things about you. But I remember feeling like this person is special to me, and I have to protect her, because like that's my job, is to protect her. And I'm this is a new role I got to take, because I never had this role before. But that's what I remember feeling that way.
Yeah. I remember being so proud to walk around. Well, I don't know if this sounds strange, but you had on your sorority paraphernalia at one point. And I was so proud to walk around with you. I don't know. I was like, this is my sister. She, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah. I remember being like, just, it felt real collegey too, with that aspect, but it felt a lot similar to how it felt at the wake, just to have you with me and walk around and feel like I did have a sister with me, but it was still very new. So it maybe, even if it was in like a lighter sense of it, but it still felt different to walk around and exist in that space together.
So thinking about, and this is off topic, but kind of not. So everything being new, right? Like this is a new, like the concept of sister is new. Whether you're talking about concept of being a big sister or concept of being a little sister, it's all new. I didn't ask this previously, but what were your thoughts, or how did it feel? I mean, like, I'm in this space in Memphis and I'm an auntie.
Ooh. That's very new. Very new. Okay, because I'm sitting here observing the relationship that you all have as a family unit, and it's so beautiful to see, for one. But the banter, the way y'all carry on between you, Ellis, and Zora, bouncing off each other and joking and just going in, it was almost like, how do I jump in here and where do I fit? Like, how do I fit into this space? I still don't know. Like, what does an auntie do? So I know I felt it at one point when we were having the conversation with Zora about doing hair, and just kind of feeling like I had a little something to offer, if it was a little piece of mentorship or advice, that felt like that. Having shared interests and talking with them about those things, just being open to conversation. I didn't want to overstep, but I also was just like, I'm here. Let's talk about the things you're interested in. Ellis talking about basketball. We talking about video games. You know what I'm saying? Talk about music. Zora's love for music and how she know every song that come on the radio. Like, I was just like, yes. But just, I still wanting to just show up and overthinking, like, what do I do in this role? What do I do here?
I'm glad y'all, like, the opportunities to connect came naturally, because like, I think it was just this past Sunday, I want to say, Ellis was talking about, like, he was geeked when you were into video games and watching certain people on, I can't remember if it was a certain TikTok
RDC
or whatever.
It was RDC.
Yeah, RDC. Yeah, he was like, yo, that's what he was just saying on Sunday. Like, he was like, okay, cool. He was very into that. And there is no scenario where I would be like, Ellis, Kelli watches RDC, you watch it. Because I didn't know. Like, it's the only thing I would have known. But it just kind of, it happened. and it created, an opportunity for connection. And hearing, you were explaining the video games that you were playing, and him asking like he actually perked up in the back seat to ask questions.
He did
about them and what it was like. That was cool. And with Zora, like the opportunity to talk about hair, like that coming up kind of naturally, even though I know like they have a connection, because I don't know if I shared this with you. So I made my extra money in high school doing hair. I don't know if I told you that.
No, I didn't know that.
And so for Zora and I having that, kind of shared experience, because that's how she makes her extra money, is doing hair, to have that shared experience is nice. But it is 10 times better to have someone close to you in a familial way who is a professional in this way. And, you can learn something from, because I can't teach her anything about hair beyond what, I know to take care of my own hair and how to deal with, whatever styles I did for her or do for myself. I can't tell her anything about hair and cosmetology professionally. You can. And so I was happy that the opportunity to talk about that just kind of presented itself and came up. And they will both find their own ways, and you will find your own way in connecting with them in a way that feels good. But I'm glad that I can tell just by having observed them that they did not feel uncomfortable or didn't feel like, who this? I know that they didn't feel that way. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that might, develop itself.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. And you remember that's not my first time meeting Ellis. He probably don't remember.
He was a baby.
Yeah, he was very little when I came to see y'all in DC. That was another moment that we had too, where we got to visit with one another. Soon, it wasn't soon after. It was probably, was it my second year or third year that I came up there for spring break? Yeah.
Now, did you intentionally come up here, or were you coming up here for something else? Because I intentionally came up there to stay.
I came up there.
Did you stay with me? You did.
Yep. Because remember, we caught the train places. We got to ride the whatever the DC subway train is.
Metro.
We got to do that. I want to say we went over by Howard's campus a little bit.
Ave during the because I think it wasn't.
Was it homecoming? No.
It was some kind
of parade. Or was it a football game?
It was some kind of parade happening.
Okay. But yep.
In my mind, I was thinking about this just the other day, where I was like, was Kelly coming up here to be with friends, and we just happened to link up one day, or did she stay with me? Like, I couldn't remember anything about it.
Yep, I stayed with y'all.
It's so wild.
Yeah. I feel like I remember a little more about that trip, but there's still like bits and pieces still though. But I remember more about that trip. But that was another navigating back then. It wasn't as awkward trying to see how do I show up as an auntie because Ellis was so little. So we was just vibing on kitty stuff, like it was cool. I didn't have to think so much about it back then. But yeah, this trip definitely opened us up to more opportunities. It was good to experience that too. I enjoyed having conversations and witnessing them. Very much, honey. They ready for the world. The world ready for them too.
I don't know.
Yes, honey. I wanted to ask you about maybe not even just in that weekend, but probably because that was the first time actually meeting in person. Was there anything about us meeting that helped heal something in you that you feel? Did you feel anything, puzzle or dots connected for you from that experience?
Not any dots connected, because I think all of that, was still a puzzle. Oh, and maybe I can share a message from Dad, and he probably sent it to you too. Not any dots connecting at that time. I think the biggest thing for me that was healing was, maybe it's a character flaw. I don't know. I often do. I think the empath in me often likes to do things based on how I would have felt in a certain situation. You know, like when I talk about the graduation and parent week and all that, I'm often, my only frame of reference oftentimes is how I, especially if it's a situation I have been in and it didn't go the way I would have wanted it to, trying to do something, if given the opportunity to do something in the way that I would have wanted it to be, assuming that that's what that other person would want too, even though that's also, you know, a risk in and of itself. Yeah. For me, it was and is still about being present as a sister in the way that I oftentimes wanted and needed. And I struggle with saying that because, you know, I have an older sister. We have an older sister. But for whatever reason, our relationship just never did a thing, you know. And like love her. You know, definitely understand her personality and her quirks and have wonderful memories, you know, of things that she did for me and, you know, just about her personality and stuff. But in coming into womanhood and being a woman, there were certain aspects of it that I wish I had, you know, or had somebody that I felt comfortable enough saying, hey, you know, what do you think? Or even someone who would have had experiences, you know, in the same way that I've had or similar to how I've had, to understand how to give me advice on how to navigate them, you know, because in our world, it's not just being a woman, being a, you know, younger Black woman navigating these things. Add on the layer of college educated. Add on the layer of working in certain professional spaces. Add on the layer of having to be around white people often. You know, like all of these things add certain, you know, they tweak our experiences in a way that you really want someone who can understand some of those environments to really be able to help you or to guide you or to give advice or to just understand, like be a listening ear and understand. And the person that I probably have the most conversations around stuff like that or experiences like those is cousin Nikki. Okay. Because she's had many of these similar experiences and she's older, you know, so I lean on her in a lot of ways emotionally because she's the person that is kind of like a proxy for that for me. And so to have the opportunity or to be given the opportunity to be able to be that in a way that I wasn't able to receive is probably what feels or felt the most healing, even though I don't, you know, I know it's not fully actualized yet. But the opportunity being there is something that's important to me.
For sure.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it did. It did. Was it a part of that you wanted to include with a text from Dad?
Oh no!
You want to tie into it?
It's there is. So we were talking about like holes being plugged in and stuff. And as we told y'all last episode, Tansy is watching all of the episodes several times over. Several times over. I'm pretty sure that of the 500 views we got, 457 of them are him.
It's a marathon with him. Content may vary marathon.
And so there was one thing Dad said. I don't know if you got this text too. Let me see. Look, I just realized I missed his text at 12:30 where he says, "Good morning, Candace. Up, all is well. How about you all? I have watched 2 times already. Love and waiting on more. Have a great day. More love, Dad." So what he sent, this was on Sunday, last Sunday. And I feel like this is probably the gift of doing this project together is that we get a chance to, just by talking, we reveal the things that we don't know, even though we don't know it's something we don't know, but just by talking, we're revealing what we do know. And other people with more information than we do and more context can give us little clues. So I'm assuming Dad was up watching, had to have been 103, number 3 again, or number 4 again. And he says, good afternoon. It's Sunday at 4:15 p.m. on the dot. Says, good afternoon, Candace. Doing good. Up earlier, had my cup and meds. Started watching you and Kelly on the podcast.
Ooh.
On the podcast, all 4 in a row. Enjoyed listening to the two of you and how my lifestyle affected your lives with me. Not proud of my actions with all of the moving around one state to another. But in 1993, I came home to be in or lose and to stay by any, I don't know, I think that's a typo there, and to stay by any means necessary to survive and make it work during odd jobs, getting whatever money I could make, whatever I could make survive. Not much, but I had to keep moving forward then. Then when I started getting a little money, I shared it with family, mother, and bought me a car. Do you remember going to St. Louis, you and I, to Karen's house for Christmas? And I remember that. We stayed from Thursday to Tuesday and came home. That is when Sandra, Dad's ex-wife, you met Sandra? Is when Sandra tried to make me tell you to give her a hug. I said no. If she want to, she can, but not going to try making her make you do that. Not me. What you did not know was when we arrived at Karen's house, she only lived about 1.5 miles from Kelly's mother and grandmother's house. I went over to the house to see them and to bring you over to meet Kelly, but the house was empty. Did not know where to start looking, so I never said anything about it. And we came back to Memphis. That was after Christmas of 1995. We stayed on Greer until 96, then to Supreme at the year of 97. G was born, Jean and Annette was with me, and you had went back to mother's home. Then I moved to Essex Street, just trying to get the years right. I may be a little off, not sure, but that was one of the reasons I wanted you to go. I had made up my mind to let you meet Kelly. Did not say anything because I could not find them. Finally, I found Kelly's grandmother's phone number in 1998 and called her. We talked, and she given me Kim's phone number. That is when I got the address. Going to say love you. Have a great Sunday. But when the two of you talk, my memory started to correct itself. More love, Dad.
Yeah. Wow. He did send me that, like a chunk of that about when y'all came up. I didn't get the whole end though about what his intentions were with trying to find us. And I want to say we might have been just out of town for Christmas that year, visiting with my aunt here in Kentucky. That's more than likely what it was. Because I do remember it was a year we went to Kentucky for Christmas. The whole thing. I remember coming home to my grandma's house and they had surprised me with a bicycle in the attic. And that's when I knew Santa Claus was just real, honey. Because how did that bicycle get there? And we was all the way out of town. So I want to say that might have been the year we were out of town for Christmas. But yeah. So I mean, he would have tried, right? Had the circumstances been right. Yeah, it's
interesting because I'm like, wow, you never told me that. You know,
just as you're riding around in the car.
Not that it changes, it doesn't change the story anyway.
Yeah.
But I actually posted on my stories the other day about, how did it go? An inch of movement is better than a mile of intentions sometimes. And while I do believe that, there are some times where it's helpful to at least know intention. Sometimes, Yeah. But anyway, so that was like, I am finding that, or I think even Dad there are probably some holes that are plugging in for him of things that he wonders about and gets a chance to learn through us talking to each other.
Yeah.
Or like you said, jog his memory in some ways.
Yeah.
because I definitely remember that going to St. Louis that time. I remember us riding in that car, go up there. I didn't know why we were going to St. Louis. We were just going.
Just thinking about what could have been had we been introduced at that time, how things may have been different or not, you know?
I don't know that would have been the smartest thing for Dad to do. I don't know. Because let's see, at that time I would have been what? 16, I guess? 15?
Yeah, I would say closer to 15 probably.
Yeah, 15.
I would have been on like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been older than that.
93?
Oh, did he say 90? No, 93. Was that the year we were going?
I thought he said 93.
95.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 93 was when he came home, but 95
okay.
Was when we went to St. Louis.
Okay. So close to like
14,
8. Yeah.
14, and I know like the grace that I'm able to extend as it relates to Dad as a man and how he related to my mom as a woman. The grace that I'm able to exhibit and the maturity around it is because I've gotten older. It's because I'm mature. It's because I've had life experience. Yeah. At that time, everything to me was black and white. Everything. There would have been no scenario where that would have made sense in my mind. You know what I mean? It would have been hard. And I would have loved still having the idea of having a sister and being a sister, but I would have looked at Dad very, very differently. I know. I don't think his intentions would have come with him and I would have been the same. Because like even at that time when I met Sandra, I wasn't even all there with her at that time. Yeah. Not at all. I came to be because she bought me stuff, but no, I was very black and white. You know, like this is, yeah. I don't know that it would have been. I don't know that I would have been mature enough to be a better person to you at that time.
And honestly, how could you have? Because we were both kids. We would have both been kids.
I could have. I can see that I probably could have very easily have been like a mean ass girl. You know, like this is my daddy. You know, I absolutely could have seen myself being like that. Yeah. I know how I was at that time. Incredibly selfish about everything. And so I definitely would not have been a kind person. I don't think I would have been. I'm embarrassed to say that, but yeah.
We're a kid. How could you be tasked with maturity and you're literally someone who is not fully matured yet? So no, it's nothing to be ashamed about at all. No. Back to like I guess the newness and of the roles as sisters, and in that vein, back then when we first visited and met, what did you think our relationship would become? Did you have any thoughts of what it would become or ideas of what you imagined it would be, and how does it compare perhaps to now?
I wasn't sure. I don't know that I think I certainly had an image, and that image would have been whatever version of the Cosby Show I thought it was, because that was my frame of reference for every familial relationship, positive reference for any familial relationship. And I probably would have felt that I was going to be more like Sandra, you know, the older sister that you never saw much, but when she was around, she was nice.
Yeah.
I think that's what I thought. What I think I wanted was probably for you to feel comfortable to reach out to me. or to ask questions or whatever, whatever. Like I think that's what I would have wanted maybe, because I think about Marcel, and of all my nieces and nephews, he's the one who will call me and say, hey, I want to get your advice on this, or I want to talk to you about this, or this is what's going on with me. And a large part of that, like, it definitely has nothing to do with like whether or not someone's closer, like whether you like them more or anything like that. In our case, it is probably nearly 100% of I'm the only person really in his circle, maybe one other person in his circle that has a set of experiences, like we were talking about before, a set of experiences that can understand the world that he navigates.
Yeah.
And even still, I don't understand it entirely because, one, I'm not a man, and two, I'm not military, and that's two additional layers on for him. And so I think and so he'll call and ask those things, and I think that's what I probably assumed and wanted, whereas it's gonna be a day my sister's gonna call me and she's gonna say, so what you think about whatever it might be. And then I'm like, oh girl, tell me some more. Let's do it. Cause in addition to there being a strong desire on my part for having that sibling relationship where, I would have had an older sister to call for certain things, I also really strongly desired having that mother-daughter relationship to where I even called my mama for certain things. And I didn't we didn't have that kind of relationship at that time. So I think I desperately wanted to be that for somebody else. Which sounds very, the more I say it, the more it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds weird the more I say it, because it feels like trying to live out a dream or something. And I guess to some extent that's true. Yeah. So I think that's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be present as much as you wanted me to be. I didn't see myself, like in all these conversations, I'm saying what I felt you would do, and that would be inviting me, that kind of thing. In none of the scenarios did I see or consider myself being the person to insert, like, hey, so you want to tell me about whatever? You want to talk to me about this? You want some advice on like, yeah. And I even got advice, but like, just, I never envisioned that I would be the one pursuing it. Cause I guess in my mind, I felt like it was my responsibility to open the door, but that I could only do as much as you would allow.
I can see that. I don't think I knew what I would have expected it to be like. I definitely feel like since time has passed, I wish I would have taken initiative more. But I love where we are now. I just wish now maybe if I had taken the initiative, we could have gotten here sooner, like, cause girl, I ain't got nothing going on now but work to call you about. Like, girl, I should have did this back in the day when I was outside for real, and I really could have had some stuff to tell you. Cause I really don't do nothing now, but still there's of course things for us to talk about and that I could, open the door for. But I even love, like, now I was thinking about it earlier. I always considered it one of my love languages, quote unquote, is sharing music and sharing playlists. And I love the fact that you and I connect in that way. And it's not like, it's not weird, like romance love, but that's love. That's my sister. And that's a thing that we share and take, find joy in is some good music and just sending you songs that I found. Hey girl, I heard this song. You heard this yet? You listen to this yet? Sharing those. And I feel like that's one of the, again, it's the little things for me that really makes it sink in, like more and more that this is my sister.
You're not by yourself.
Yeah, I'm not. And the fact again that this is a love language of mine, and I'm sharing that with you is that's my sister. I love her, and I feel comfortable. I feel safe sharing these things and having these types of conversations. I think again, thinking back to last week, how we talked about Memphis and us being together, just again, it's just the little stuff that makes it feel more real and just makes me feel more comfortable opening up and being more present. That's just the thing. That's how I am. I could be a recluse and aloof a lot. So and it's just a matter of me feeling like I have to protect myself or protect my mental by not doing too much overstimulating my mind with thoughts, and there's nothing to say about you that I don't feel safe. But you know what I'm saying? It's just
I understand completely.
But I love where we are now, and just one of my regrets is not acting on the open door sooner, or just making myself more available.
You in this room? It's crazy house up in here. It might have padded walls. But man, what gave me peace of mind, I want to say, when you had to have been, I want to say this was probably in your, like, probably the 24 to 30 age range, probably. And I look at your social media stuff, and I don't know how close y'all are. I don't know the dynamics of the relationship or anything like that. But one of your friends, Essence,
that's my girl.
And I was like, okay, she all right, because you would often tag her and stuff, or she would tag you in things. And I could tell through the tags or through like the things that y'all would share that there was a depth to the relationship, like where there was someone that it seemed to me that she was someone that you trusted and who you believed had your back, but also it seemed like you were the same for her. And so I was like, okay, she good. Like, I'm not worried. Yeah. I wasn't worried about you because I was she has somebody in her world that, even if y'all going through shit together at the same time, you have someone who is your ace right there with you. And that gave me peace of mind. Not like I needed it, but it did, because I was like, even if I'm not in that picture in that way, there is somebody in the picture in that way that is serving a very important purpose, which is making sure that she's okay.
Yeah. That speaks to friendships as like a version of chosen family. Essence is my girl. We came a long way. I met her in like my adulthood in that transition around 2008, 2009 in one of the craziest ways, child. We were in a competition, not a competition, an online little thing, trying to go on a date with Bow Wow and Omarion.
What?
Don't ask. What? That's how Essence and I met. Yeah, what? We signed up for this little online. It was an online thing. I can't explain, like a contest. That's the word, not competition, a contest. And you had to submit a video. You had to submit a video as to why they should pick you to go on a date with them. And I remember my video, for some reason, had made it to like the main page where people could vote on my video out of all like the others, and maybe me and a couple other people. And Essence, she found me on Facebook to tell me, because I didn't know. She found me. She said, "Girl, your video on the thing." And we added each other on Facebook from there, and we've been tight ever since. It's crazy. It's crazy. But
that is not how I expected this story to go.
Yep. Essence, we've been locked in ever since then. But it's so interesting because Essence kind of comes from a similar situation too. She grew up an only child, but she does have siblings from her dad's side. And I got to be there for when she I think she had met them before, but just kind of got back in the groove about being around them and participating in that side of her family functions and goings on. I got the chance to witness that with her. So we have a lot in common in that regard. But yeah, that's my girl, and she has she has been around amongst other friends. I've had several other friends, you know, who have been there with me, and we've built bonds that were what I would call like sisters, you know. Again, people who I just feel safe around. I feel comfortable being me in all my quirks, all my ways, the good and the bad about me. They've witnessed it, and they've made me still feel okay to be me.
Well,
you know
to
what I'm saying?
Kelly's friends, thank you for being her chosen family.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all.
Thank you for but seriously, I sound like I'm joking, but no, seriously, thank you for being her chosen family. Because when I tell you it was peace of mind for me, it was peace of mind for me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know. I'm happy to know that there are people that rock with you in the way that you need, and that are supportive, but also fun, and are going to look out for you, because that's what we all need. But I definitely thank you for being there for her in all the ways. Oh goodness. Bow Wow and Omarion.
Girl, listen.
What a time that was.
That was, you know, growing up, I feel like we really, again, I love being just a millennial. That era of posters on your wall, the wrap up magazines, what were they called? I can't think of all of them, but
Word Up.
That whole phase. Word Up, yes, Word Up magazine. Oh man, that Bow Wow was the one for me.
Oh my!
I used to love it, and she was an Omarion fan, so we just clicked. We was like, "Oh, we finna win this. We finna," and girl went nowhere. But Essence and I found each other in that. Yeah,
that is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
on
girl.
that note, that's that tracks that I didn't expect.
Girl, just be in the most random situations. I swear to God.
Do you have a that tracks for this episode?
Yes, I do. Speaking of just random situations, still taking it back to Memphis, the trip down to Memphis and visited with the family. We went out to Walmart on a Walmart run, and we had shopped through the store.
Nothing, by the way.
Exactly. Shopped through the store, got all the way, and this tracks for Walmart for one. Got to the front of the store, only 1 or 2 lanes open. It was one actual lane, and the rest was self-checkout. They also had a line to the back of the store. So we got in line, pretended like we were going to stay there, and we didn't. But in the midst of waiting in that line and deciding what the hell we was about to do, up comes a man. Now, I can't tell you what he said because I was too stuck looking at him, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. But from what he looked like to me, he looked like a vampire. I can't explain it. Don't ask for too much detail there. It was something about his eyes that didn't sit right with me. It looked like both of his eyes were like, I know people when they say people get drunk and their eyes get bloodshot. I know that to mean like your eyes are just reddened, like you might need a little Visine. Mm-hmm. His eyes literally looked bloodshot, like stained with blood. And that's all I could see. To me, I couldn't hear a word he said. He asked us some kind of question. He might have had a problem with the line too. And he just walked off.
He said,
and I said,
he's like, is this the line?
Oh, see, I don't know what he said. I just looked at him and I looked at y'all. I said, I don't like it. I said, he's scaring me.
You and James on the same page. I'm looking at him like, yes, this is the line. You and James
I said, he's scaring me. I do not like his eyes. It was just in the fact that in that moment, I could not get past. Not that I'm shallow, but my intuition, my instinct was just like, something's not right with this man. Get him away from me.
Oh my goodness.
Very much tracks for me.
And then after you said that he looked strange, I was like, he do look strange. But that also tracks for me because I'll just be, all up, like nothing really happening. And then be like, you didn't see that man walking around with his ass out? No, I did not.
Girl. No, immediately. I was immediately just no. Whatever you got to say, hurry up and say it and go, sir. Please. Go away from me with this.
Said, no.
I think I said, well, he looked like Sinners or something. I was just like,
That is what you said. You said,
oh, yeah, no.
Like Sinners.
Mm-mm.
Pick poor Robin clean. I think that's what you said.
He definitely gave that, and I immediately wanted to exit the conversation. I didn't want to hear nothing he had to say.
Nope.
So yeah, that tracks for me, honey, because I'll clock out immediately if I don't feel. What about you? You got any that tracks for this week?
I think from this week, my memory has been like wild lately. I don't know. It's just
What's Dallas?
How was Dallas? Stupid. I didn't need to be there. I had to go for work. I didn't need to be there, but it was fine. It was a good trip. I had some decent food. Oh, okay. So one day I went to this restaurant called I Declare. Okay, so you know the phrase I declare.
Mm-hmm.
This is a play on that phrase, but it's Ida, like a lady's name, Claire, like a lady's name. Okay, I Declare was a Southern kitchen. I'm gonna tell you, you know what I don't appreciate? I don't appreciate restaurants playing in blackface. I don't like that. Because I think I automatically assume most Southern, when they say Southern soul food, I'm assuming it's a black owned restaurant. It's not. They don't be all the time. But that's a sidebar. So I Declare is a Southern restaurant. So I went for lunch one day because I was like, well, I want to at least try it, see what it's like. And I'm sampling a variety of things. I get some gumbo with crawfish. It was delicious. I got some deviled eggs. They were delicious. Okay. Got some biscuits. They too were delicious. Okay. I had a little bit of the deviled eggs and the biscuits left that I took back to my apartment. But I had a beverage. Okay. And I'm not really drinking alcohol these days. Okay. So I was looking at the mocktails list, and they had mocktails, and then they had a set of drinks that they called California Sober. So I look at the description of the ingredients, and these are weed beverages, apparently.
Oh.
Cocktails, if you will.
California.
Yeah, no alcohol, but it's got THC. I placed my order for the beverage, and the lady says, you don't have to take a drug test anytime soon, do you? I was like, what? I said, no. She was like, I'm just checking. I said, I read the description. Said, okay, just checking, because sometimes people don't pay attention. I said, and then I thought to myself, I said, a drug test? Me? I need to take a drug test. Anyway. So then I have the drink. It was a weird looking drink. It looked like a lava lamp, which is fine. Like the weird shape, like the triangular base. So the cup was like a triangle base, and then it had a bowl globe at the top with one of those big ball ice cubes. And then it was like blue at the top, and it faded to yellow at the bottom. So it was definitely giving psychedelic. Okay. I have my drink. I have all of my little snack foods. I pay. I leave, get in the car, driving back to my hotel or to my apartment. I get back to my apartment. I said, woof. It kicked in. I was like, kicked in. You didn't think this through.
Oh my.
Because you really should have had that only if you were walking back to your hotel room. Or if you knew how you would react to said California sober beverage. Right. So that tracks for me is that, it seems like a good idea in the moment. I will try it. And then I will realize, I probably should have made a different choice.
Oh my. Was the drink whooping you? Was the drink whooping you?
It wasn't that bad, but it was whooping my ass. It definitely was. It was in it, and I was like, okay. Note to self.
Oh man.
Have that at night when I'm the passenger.
Got to be more careful.
So this has been another episode of Contents May Vary with Candace and Kelli, where we continue to explore all the things that make our relationship beautiful and also unique. And I don't remember what we plan to talk about next week, but you know what? Y'all will get it when you get it. In the meantime, follow us on all platforms, Contents May Vary Pod. And if you have any recommendations, questions, or stories that you too would like to share, email them to us at contentsmayvarypod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, and maybe share your stories online. And then also tell us, should we have Tansy on the podcast? Should we? Let us know what you think, because we think that will probably be an interesting conversation to have and allow them to clear up a few things probably here and there. But you let us know what you think. Until next time, love you, Kelli.
Love you too, Candace. See you. Let's